23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Oh, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Aggressively Average Angler podcast for episode 40. We just figured out. You guys, we've been doing this show for 40 episodes, and this is like our second show. So realistically, that's what, 1,000 dog years, I think. Correct, Paul? It's been a long time on the interwebs. We've got a really fun topic for you guys tonight. We're really excited about this because it was one of the things that, you know, when talked about through Instagram posts and videos and things like that that we were putting out during iCast, this was one of the most divisive, I would say, that came up. This and Copycast. So we've done back-to-back of the most hot topics from iCast. Today we're talking about technology, and I can't wait to see what you guys are thinking about this, but we're going to have an expert on the show, right? So this is going to be a lot of fun. We got Jose Cinco, also known as Bait and Bougie, over on all his channels, Instagram, TikTok. Go check him out on YouTube as well. He's got a channel. And Jose works for Cascade, so he knows his stuff. He's not just some guy that's like, oh, yeah, this is cool. Like, he's involved in all of this. So I'm really excited to get his insight on this. Jose, how you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are excited because I want to know, like, when AI takes over our fishing reels and, like, does some really weird stuff for us. Maybe catches fish, I believe. An expandable net just, like, shoots out and just grabs. We don't need casting.
That's what everyone's saying. That's what everyone's saying. You're just going to sit there and press a button and catch a fish, and, you know, everything's ruined, you know? The whole world is just ruined.
Yeah.
Is that ruinous? Because if it turns into Pokemon where I just take the little ball out and I hook it whenever I see a fish, I'm not mad at it.
I am supremely on board. I'm excited for technology with fishing. I have no problems with technology. I know a lot of people do, and maybe some folks in chat do, and we're open to hearing it from y'all. So I think this would be a good episode for us all to chit chat about this fun topic. So before we kick it off, though, I got some updates for you guys. Check this out. Knucklehead Bass Series. Yes, still happening. There's 5 days left in July. Yeah, so this is
5 days left. We got through the weekend.
Yeah, third to last month. There are still prizes on the line. There's still a chance to join one of our teams. There's two teams here, right? So you got Team Stark, Team Flanders is Paul. And by joining one of those teams, if you rank in the top 5, really, because people are choosing teams, you have a chance to be on one of our teams to go fish with us in Alabama for this really fun tournament. There's $10,000 on the line, you guys, to the winning team. This is legit. So right now, the standings. Team Flanders, we got Chris Rocca in number 1 spot still right now at 88.25 inches for his total. We got Jermaine Simpson following it up, 81.5. Paul Burly at 79.5 is in third. So that's Team Flanders. Team Stark, Steven Scott stepping in. He's not even on my team.
No.
He must have registered to my team too, because he chose to go with your team. He put up a 94, bro. 94.
Dang.
So we got 94 from him, and then there's actually a tie. I didn't think it was possible. There's a tie right now. 88.25 inches between Jamar Carroll and Chris Rocca for second and third place.
Bro.
So we got a hot streak going on, you guys. Top 3 is heating up. 5 days left. There's one weekend involved in this left. So there's a good
Everyone
shot.
on Team Flanders, I'm going to give you
Okay.
I'm going to give you guys some tips. I know that a lot of you are in the South.
Set the hook.
And a couple of you are in Michigan. If you're in Michigan, for the love of God, throw a walking bait or a buzz bait. I can promise you, you will catch fish. So I will give you those 2 tips. If you're in the South, it's frogging season. I have it on very good authority that it's frogging and big worm season. So please throw a big worm on a Texas rig, or please throw a frog. Those are, I'm out. I'm stepping away from the microphone. If you're on Team Stark, take a nap. Have yourself a joyous weekend. Go see a movie.
L, you guys.
Go see Oppenheimer. Don't be here. You don't need.
Go
You're good.
see
Don't worry
Oppenheimer.
about it.
Hey,
Don't
you want a
worry
real
about it.
feel-good movie, you guys? Go see the Barbie movie. Get out of here, right?
You don't need to be here.
Absolutely.
Get out of here. I'm going to go take my girls. You guys wait. But all right, so Team Stark do the same thing, obviously. And the frogs have been great. Even on my lake. My lake is a tiny lake. We call it Dink Lake. And I've been smacking them on full-size frogs. Like on the Big Gabbo, we got a frog over by Paul's house. Couple good catches on that too. So I mean, get after it, you guys. Other than that, we do have a schmiv away tonight from Monster Bass. $25 gift card is on the line. End of the show, we'll be doing that as we do Slow Rolling Thunder as always. So I think that'll be fun. And the last thing I'll say is this: we just dropped a BFS video. So Bait Finesse System. We did a showcase with Bait Finesse Empire, all the guys from Bait Finesse Empire, like the guy that runs the company, Amir. We had RAR Fishing, we had the Hunter Fisher on there. Paul interviewed them, and he went around and got like the inside scoop. You'll even see Tactical Bassin in the background of the cash-in section, just because they were sitting at a table writing deals. But yeah, we went around like cash-in. We got the Arc Reel is in there, the new Cast King Kestrel, right? Which Jose, like.
God.
He gave us the whole spiel on, right? On the water day. We had no idea this thing was coming, and Jose took us through it. So that was really cool. But yeah, do us a favor, go check that out, smash that like, share that around if you would. Really appreciate you, nerds. All right, I'm done. That was a long spiel. Your turn.
My spiel is very short. So we are at Q of the D. So now this is the part where everyone gets to join, and it's not just the Jeff show. So we are best. This is going to be your opinion. Best worst movie of all time. So like Sharknado would fall into like best worst movie, right? That type of like a trash film, but it's quality. Like you can't not watch it. It's great because it's so bad. That's the category that we're talking about. I stumbled across one today. Somebody mentioned it at work. Escanaba in the moonlight.
Yeah.
If you're from Michigan, you know about this. It's about people from the UP, and it's a hilarious comedy. And there are insane dream sequences. There's fart jokes. There's old man jokes. There's all kinds of speculative things happening in that movie. It's absolute trash. I'm pretty sure. What is it? Jeff Daniels? You have to see it. You should see it. It's an experience. And if you want to know what it's like to live in UP, it's not far off. I'm not gonna lie. Insane drug-induced dream sequences included. Yeah. It's very much so primo upper Midwest.
Great choice. Jose, what's yours?
Oh, it'd have to be the original Fast and Furious.
I thought about bringing up Fast and Furious.
That is such a horrible series in general, but I love that movie so much. Like, I think it was senior year that came out, and I was just freaking infatuated with it. You know,
need a GTO now.
Like, I need all the neon lights from freaking AutoZone. You know what I mean? Like, it was just such a cultural movement. But like when I look at it, I just laugh because it's so stupid.
It had a chokehold on like 2005 or whenever that was when that came out.
2000.
01.
Right, 99.
Oh, 2000. 2000.
Yeah,
2000?
yes.
2000, 2001.
Yeah, the first one. Second one was 02. The third one was like sometime with like 2007 or something. But like
Unreal.
then they ripped them out. But like
Yeah,
that is
they
my
were
wife
like-
and I's like favorite series of all time because it's so over the top. It's so enjoyable. So I won't go that route. What I will go is I will say almost anything Nicolas Cage is in falls into this category. But my absolute favorites.
If you say Face Off, I will rip your face off.
My absolute two favorites are Face Off and Con Air. These
Con
are
Air. I knew you were going to say Con Air.
Baby. Yeah.
So that's fun. As soon as you said that, I was like, well, I have to add that in. Face Off, my favorite part at the end when he hits him with the harpoon and he's like, die.
Yes, he's cutting his actual fake face off with
like every time
with
you
a
look in
piece
the
of
mirror,
glass
you'll
or metal
see
or
me.
whatever. Oh my
Dude,
god!
it was on. So when we were at ICAST, go ahead.
There's a scene in that movie where he very quickly, like the door opens and closes, and if you pause it just the right moment, there's a reflection in the door, and you can see his bloody face with no face on it.
Yeah. Yep. Oh no, I remember that. It's like a little mirror, but yeah. So when we were at ICAST, like whenever we're at hotels doing things, right, filming, doing content, whatever, and I had a work trip right after this. So Paul and I ended up watching like Die Hard 3. We watched what was like
Fast and Furious was one of them.
Fast and Furious 7. And we were joking about that one's weird with Paul Walker because like he died filming that video, RIP. And it's like his brother standing in for him half the time with a CGI face. And it's really noticeable.
Yes,
so that was pretty rough. And then I went on my work trip, and on my work trip, Face Off was on. So like we watched Face Off the first night I got there. And I was like, okay, perfect. I love like worst movies ever. I'll call it a podcast. If you guys want to check this out, How Did This Get Made? It's with Paul Scheer. Like it's phenomenal. But they only do videos that are so bad that they're good. Like that's the whole podcast. And then you can watch them and like listen. It's hilarious. But yeah, let's get into technology. Let's get out of cinematography.
So we got onto the whole thing started. I didn't like the whole thing started with the iReel. So it was on the new product showcase. So we knew that it existed. From the description, I had no idea what we were stepping into. So I had a thought, right? I thought I knew what we were looking at. We were like, well, we have to go see it. So then we saw Jose and his team, the Casking team, on the water day, which I did not expect to see you guys there. I expected to see you guys indoors for Wednesday, right? But we saw you on the water and we were like, oh, we'll sidestep in here. And that's when I saw actually the Kestrel Elite rod, the ultralight rod. And I was like, wait a minute. And that already, you guys caught me on the right foot. You guys go watch the video. You can see the details of that rod. It's amazing. But anyways, we'll bypass that for now. So I was already in. And then I see the sunglasses and we're like, all right, we're doing the whole thing. And then Jose was kind enough to take us back to the water and let us try out the whole system. And I'll be honest, what totally changed it for me was when you were walking us through, it actually wasn't the tech stuff. That's actually not what like kind of brought me in. When I saw, I'm going to call it the DC feature because that's what everyone will know it as, but it's your frequency control, which is like your version of a digital chip control. I was like, we did not even, based on the description, I didn't think that was going to be part of the reel. I thought that was not in existence. And when I found out it was like, well, we're going to try it. And it worked really well. And I love the concept. I would love you to explain the concept of we're going to call it digital chip control, but your IFC versus what people are traditionally known as the Shimano, we'll call it the DC. What's different about yours? Can you explain that? Because this is where I was like, this was like, to me, very innovative.
Well, what everyone thinks it really is just a DC altogether. You know, even the analytics, and not to get I know we'll get into that, but everyone thinks that all this is just another DC. And they don't. There isn't much. I guess there is some information, but it's kind of hard to decipher. So, what makes the IFC or intelligent frequency control different from Shimano's digital control braking system is theirs is a linear braking system. I mean, it's just it measures at one time, one frequency, and that's it.
Oh, like speed. So it's saying like, here's the speed of the cast at some point, and then it applies a certain amount of control based on that one reading.
Yes. So it's one time. And what the difference with ours is up to, I mean, if you got technical, up to 600 hertz. So it varies. It goes up to 600 times a second. That microprocessor is scanning the spool speed, right? So it's applying pressure. The pressure is always the same. What changes is the duration. So the millisecond micro adjustments that that processor is making to the system, that's just as it measures it, and then it applies the duration is what is the variable on the braking system.
And Jeff, so Jeff and I we actually straight up tested this. You guys will see the actual video of that on next Wednesday? Or is it Monday? On Monday, you guys will see that video. I added it last night.
Either Friday or Monday. I can't decide which. We'll see.
Soon. And you guys will see us testing this. But when we were on the water, I was like screaming at Jeff, I was like, hey, delete everything. Take everything off. Like the brakes off, the controller
turn it all
off.
down. Let's bomb this thing.
We were actually in the wind. You will know because the audio sucks. It's not terrible. But it's not great because of the wind. Because there was a storm rolling in right when we were trying to do the testing.
Yeah.
Which was actually great.
Dunked us.
It did.
Yeah.
And Jeff actually has a DC, so Jeff has a lot of experience with the Shimano DC technology. And then we got to mess around with this one. So Jeff, what were your thoughts after casting it when you had it in hand?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, and Jose will talk about this too. Like, it's a little different just because you can't get as low profile because you guys have all those chips in there. There's a lot of brain up in this reel to like really condense the cranium of it all. But we definitely made it work, right? I mean, it felt decent in hand. The casting was interesting, right? Because it took a lot. I did nest it once, but it took a lot for me to do that into the wind with that chatterbait. I think we were throwing
3/8 ounce chatterbait.
Yeah, I think it was 3/8 ounce
on a frogging rod.
I just edited it. on a frog, like wrong rod, everything. We're just like, whatever, let's go for it. But I was at like rip and cast, just bombing it out there. And then one of your anglers, I think, one of the casting anglers was like just next to us. And it counts like how many casts you have. And I remember thinking like, oh man, our audio is going to be trash. But at the same time I was listening and it was like 97th cast. Like he did not nest a single time, just boom, 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 right into the wind with, I think he had like a heavy popper on there. So yeah, overall like feel though to the DC is, I can't remember if everybody's gonna be like, does it make the zing sound? I don't think it does. Like I was trying to think back and I was like, I don't think it did. So it's pretty smooth. It's definitely not annoying at all. Like it doesn't give you that zing. However, you definitely felt in control. Like I didn't feel like I was going to overcast, undercast. I was getting mad distance on a 3/8 ounce in the wind. So I was like, okay, like this is easy.
We were getting 40 yards, 38 to 40 yards. I just edited it literally last night. When I
why are you asking me? I'm going off memory.
I'm listening to the readout in my head. So when I was casting it, I have minimal experience with a DC because I do not own a chip control. Now I've used Jeff's quite a few times, so I have a good understanding of how it's supposed to feel. When I did it, I was interested to see how it worked in the wind with little to no braking or mag applied, right? Like, so the worst case scenario, terribly tuned set reel. I hucked it out and I watched it, and I was just watching the spool. I didn't care about where the cast went, and it was nuts because I know if I had one of my reels, especially with like quality bearings and everything, that thing would have kept going. It spun half a rotation over and then it clicked back. That was it. Hucked it out, spun one rotation, done. Nothing else. And that to me was like, that's exactly what I would want. And I did not nest it and I had the brakes off. So I was really impressed by it. I like the idea that it's an improvement on an existing technology. So that's actually kind of gonna be the theme as we go, because I want to hit the other actually was my favorite innovation, which was the line guide. And this, you guys will see this on the video. I highly recommend. I can't stress enough. Go watch on the video because you can actually see it do it, or better yet, go to Casting's website because then you can see it in action. But Jose, can you walk us through your guys' innovative line guide that you have on the iReel?
Yeah, so it's called our Axis I line guide. And again, like you guys said, Shimano has their DC. We improved our version of it on that. Same thing. Why is Daiwa the only one that has any type of line guide change or a variant that does this? Their T-wing system. So instead of with theirs, how it kind of folds down. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. Maybe not. But it opens right there to the open position, and it snaps.
It's like
forward.
an oval.
Yes, it's so it goes from it's 3 millimeters when it's in the closed position, and it has 2 points of contact. So a top or front and back. And so when the line guide is going on it, it gets it super, super even. I mean, you guys, I was showing people it the next day with the same setup that you guys were using out in the water. And I said, look how tight and even that is. It looks like it was machine spooled. And so when it opens, it goes to a 17.6 millimeters with no lines in it. So it's literally just like that.
Yeah.
The T-wing system, it's kind of, without making like a weird heart action.
It's like a triangle.
It's like a triangle, but it's got those deep grooves there on the bottom. So line can still potentially get in there, get frayed, get caught as
it also flies up.
Those.
If you got it pointed down, it can come up into the higher portion. That is the open part, because all it's doing is going up and down.
Yes. So we improved our own version of it. We didn't take any of their technology. We didn't. It's not like the same thing with IFC and the line guide. It's not like it's something where all they did was change one thing and no, we just took it and completely made it our own. And that's what we really try to do with this reel, is showcasing what we are able to do and what we want to bring into the fishing industry.
Those are my two favorite parts of the reel. I'll be honest. I enjoy the tech part that we'll talk about and we're supposed to talk about, but the concept is saying like, somebody made something awesome. We're gonna make our version of it. I loved your guys' version of it. And I just like the fact you guys did it because no one else is doing it. So those are my two favorite things.
I think that's where a lot of people get hung up, right? Like a lot of people would just they're looking at the data output, and even with the data output, the thing that correct me if I'm wrong here, Jose, that blew my mind for you was the amount of data that it was giving you. And everybody got hung up on like, I don't care how fast I cast. Like I was like, that's one thing. That was like the parlor trick of iCast essentially, is go down, bomb cast. Everybody's trying to see how fast they can cast it out there, but it's giving you so much more information than that, right? So I think you had mentioned, is it not like GPS location, like weather, time?
Oh, absolutely. It shows you as soon as you open up the app and connect and make sure everything's connected to the thing. And that was a big thing why we wanted to do that on the water. Like you guys, right. I mean, everyone was a skeptic of it, but you guys, and you guys are truthful. You guys aren't hung up or sponsored in a certain way. You guys came out and used it and watched the tech work firsthand. There wasn't any connectivity issues. There wasn't any count issues. It was literally me standing there watching you guys just bomb cast it, trying your hardest. And so it has, initially when you start the app, it gives you your weather conditions and it gives your GPS location. So once you hit fish now, you can start make sure it's connected. And then the next screen, it has number of casts, casting distance, casting speed, post line out count. So the algorithm understands when the bait hits the water and how much it drops. Again, we don't calculate that as depth because depth is a vertical measurement versus the bait's kind of like on a pendulum swinging back to you.
Right.
That's why we don't call it depth. So we call it post cast line out, total line out, number of casts, and all of that. And so just think about it. How does that even matter? So when we're fishing at one spot and we can go back and look, hey, at 8 o'clock yesterday, 8 a.m., we were just absolutely smashing them in the mouth. What were we doing? Okay, this was the weather conditions. This is where we were at. That's where we made 150, 200 casts, and all of them seemed to be about 20 yards, and the retrieval was under half a mile an hour. So we were just casting it out X amount of yards and just slow rolling it back. And so you're able to figure out exactly down to your retrieval speed on what pattern or what did those fish want? What type of presentation did they want at that time?
Yeah, and I think the big thing from this too is that we came into it actually with more of a negative mindset, because we did review this. We had a precast iCast show, and all I did, I think there was like two websites that had a list, and the list wasn't even complete, but it was like, hey, here's all the new stuff coming out iCast 2023. And we're scrolling through. I don't even know this reel was a thing, and we got down to it, and I was like, hang on. Like, what is this reel that's super shiny? And then we looked at it, and I was like, and we literally, you can watch the footage, man. We're like, who wants this? Like, what is this? Because all I was thinking was that initial data. I didn't see the IFC one. I think at least the description didn't describe it. So I was like, okay, like, what is this 300 to $399 reel doing?
This
like,
was the other one, the A and B one that was original.
And that
So,
one's $299.
299.
300.
$299 and $349 is the IFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we actually came in with it. We're like, okay, what's this thing gonna be? And we saw the Kestrel, we saw the glasses laid out, which, by the way, I mean, we should talk about bone conducting audio. What the? That was the weirdest thing for me.
It's that was a mistake on my part. It's not bone conducting. It's actually directional. It's actually directional speakers. Tiny directional speakers with the port that's on the inside.
So it's like pointing back, I would assume, to your ears. Yeah,
it's pointing back towards your ears where only you can hear it, because no one else could hear what was going on. But so when you have your calls, that's how it's able to do noise canceling and all that too.
It was ultra clear. And also, thank you for my future comments who will be like, these aren't bone conducting. I can't wait to read those, smash a heart, and then ignore them.
Let's be honest though, every time you make a small mistake, you get 75 comments of people who want to Corey correct you. And then
your
I'm like,
TikTok.
This
the TikTok
great.
this
Thank
this
you,
week.
Everyone.
We posted a video. Well, Paul posted a video that he did on Lake St. Clair. He was using the ultralight rod that we just made, and which will be coming soon. We didn't even get a chance to talk. We should probably talk about that next podcast. But it's done. Like we're good with it. We're in the final preparations, right? So Paul does a video with it. He catches a giant, what we call a sheep's head, a freshwater drum. So he says, I got a massive sheep's head on here. And all the comments, instead of being like, tell me about this rod, like what's the price point? It was all, that's not a sheep's head. That's a drum.
And so it's funny.
If you look it up, both terms are right next to each other. It says freshwater drum or sheep's head. Like, it's legit. But then also saltwater guys going, that's not a sheep's head, because they're used to the black and white striped ones that look like a zebra, have the crazy fins, and have human teeth. This ain't that. This is different. But it's so that was funny.
Welcome to people on the internet.
My most minor mistake.
And
we were right, was the funny part.
Yeah, well, so we get a lot. So to that point, good transition. So we get a lot of comments on the iReel reel, the Instagram reel or TikTok or whatever that I posted. So I went back through the comments and I looked. So we got some the boos or naysays where don't need this, can't use the data. Don't want tech. This is probably the biggest one. Don't want technology. I just want to fish. How will this help me catch fish? Which I thought was the most comical one in the entire world. They're technically not the first to do this, because there's the TWS, there's the DC. Then there was the limit breaker, which I had not heard of. The limit breaker. It's an $850 Daiwa product that does that.
It's not coming to the United States. So that's Daiwa. But you guys were there when Daiwa was like right there, hounding us the entire time.
They sure were.
So anyone that says, "Oh, well, it's casking," so Shimano and Daiwa, they don't give two craps about casking. Well, they were there, and you guys saw them. They were there. So the IMZ came out. We were already developing this reel. All right, because a lot of people said, "Oh, we're just copying the DC, or we're just copying the IMZ." No, we were. I mean, obviously, just the algorithm alone was over a year just in development. But the IMZ came out, and it's not even out yet, and it's not even coming to the United States. And I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, I guess people on the internet know, because they know everything. They know every intricate detail of everything that the IMZ does. I know it does a lot of similar stuff, but it doesn't. There's a lot that it doesn't have, and now it's just what I figured out from talking with Daiwa Japan, the actual engineers and the marketing guys that were talking to me at ICAST. So I know that there's a lot that ours does that theirs doesn't do, and theirs isn't necessarily a digital breaking, from what I understand. I don't know, but it's $850 minimum.
I was like,
I think it was like originally supposed to be 900, something like that.
I've seen it 900. I think it's 850, but regardless, it's insane. And I
got it at 950 on JapanTackle.com, and it has a light like a Tesla, like a little wraparound light. It's pretty absurd. Also, when you said limit breaker, or when it was written on the sheet, I hadn't heard of this reel, and I was like, that's surely like an anime finishing move. That's certainly not a reel.
That's funny.
Limit breaker. That's like Dragon Ball Z.
Whatever.
Canon.
To me, there were some highlights, right? There were a lot of highlights. So a lot of people like innovative, love the idea, next gen technology. A lot of people just said it looks fun. which is always a good thing. A lot of people really like the DC concept. So I had a lot of people that were like, it's kind of cool to see another DC. I'm just going to keep calling it that because it's convenient. And then this was interesting. I think most people totally missed the line guide entirely. If I get a chance, I'm probably going to make a video on that. I just have to find the right footage that I can do for vertical for phone. So I'm going to find that, and I want to do a video on it because that was actually my favorite part of the reel. But when I went through and watched everything, I was interested because there are a lot of people who will just say, it's stolen, I don't want this, and I don't need this. And this sounds so much to me. I'm going to transition here away from the iReel. This sounds so much like LiveScope.
Yes,
like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's unbelievable how. Go ahead, Jeff.
Just real quick, I want to throw it out there because I was putting together the thumbnail and title for this video, which Paul edited, and I always like to come in and ruin everything that he makes. So I jump in and I'm researching the title for the YouTube video. And when I typed in "Will technology ruin fishing?" the first thing that comes up is forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
Like tons of videos on that.
So for those who aren't familiar, because some people just don't care or don't know, and I just want to make sure everyone's up to speed. Forward-facing sonar, there are a couple of different brands of it. There's different versions of it, but it's basically sonar that you shoot out in front of your transducer shoots out forward instead of down or to the side. And then a lot of like LiveScope gives you a live view, or 360 mega, whatever. It gives you a live view of what's going on. So you can actually, like maybe someone who's ice fishing, you can actually see when a fish makes a take. You can see when your lure is going to hit the bottom. You can see it moving. There's about a quarter second delay, maybe a half second delay. That's about it. It's pretty much live. It's really cool. This is, for a lot of people, cheating. A lot of people say that's cheating. It's too much information. A lot of people say, well, you need that to catch a fish. You must really suck at fishing, and so on and so forth. And that, I'll be honest. I'll be Jeff and I do this a lot of times, and this is maybe why I end up being the bad guy all the time, and I have to be told to be nice. I'm fine playing devil's advocate, so I will sit in this seat and I will play devil's advocate a lot of times, including right now. I can understand that person's perspective. I really can. Like when someone's like, "You paid $7,000 to have that on your boat to help you catch fish. I'm in my tin boat. I catch fish. I don't have any of that. I'm better than you, and you are not good." Like, I'll be totally transparent. I totally respect that opinion. I understand that opinion, but let's maybe talk about that a little bit because I don't think that's the only opinion.
Hard disagree.
Mm-hmm,
That's
definitely.
my point.
Self awesome.
Say more.
So,
go
Jose, you go.
Oh.
I'll jump in. I'll add notes, but you go.
So I was a LiveScope hater initially too, and then I saw it, and then I saw how much we're learning about fish behavior, and the things that we thought we saw, or let's just say a jerkbait. I use this jerkbait on suspended fish, but when you do LiveScope, it's like, is it really suspended, or do you see it come up and then hit it? Yeah, it might be up top, higher than normal, or not in front of its face, but see it, you hit it up on top. When you see fish scatter, okay, you understand when you go into a cove and you see fish scatter. Well, those big fish that scatter, that's not bass. Bass hold their ground. Yeah, they know that you're already there, so obviously you're not going to cast at that one that's 20 feet out. You might cast at that bigger one that's 50 feet out. But if they scatter, then they're probably either grass carp, maybe a large catfish, but they're not larger bass. And so there's just a lot of different characteristics, and you see the way the fish react and what they do, that we're learning so much. And, for anyone that says it's stupid, nobody can, you can't do that without LiveScope or this and that. It's just a tool, right? Look at the Bassmaster Classic. You got over 100 anglers, and they all have six-figure boats. They all have $120,000, $130,000 boats. But there's only one winner.
Mm-hmm.
And half of the field does horribly. So when people say, "Oh, if you just spend this money, then you can do it," you can't, because for every one, let's just say, I don't know him personally, so blame me in the comments, but Josh Jones, right? For every one Josh Jones, there's 5,000 other LiveScope anglers behind him that can't catch a double digit.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say and they give all this hate, it's like, I see it, but I totally disagree with it, because if you're so against technology, then you should be out there with a Tenkara rod and a stream and
I
call it
better
good.
not see you with anything. You
So
better not
that's
have a smartphone. You better have a Nokia brick, the same one that you got in '98 with prepaid minutes. I don't want to see anything else.
Are you
But
like Google Maps?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, so
Considered old school now. That's considered
do you remember
notebook
printing
guy
out?
behavior. That's not. But
Did
that
you
is
print
like
out your MapQuest? Because
yeah.
I definitely did. I
That
remember
is
looking at that.
that is
Ugh.
an ever updating mega satellite data network that you're accessing on a minute to minute basis. Like that's what that is. And
That's
I
the thing.
you know
Like so my thoughts on this for sure. I hard disagree with people who are saying like no to technology. My thought is just zoom out from fishing. Like I feel like everybody's too narrowed in on fishing. They think that adding the technology is going to take them out of nature. Like you're still outside. Like you're still doing all the same things. In my opinion, with forward facing sonar, I'm having more fun because I'm getting to the thing I want to do much faster, and I'm learning a lot along the way. I will hear absolutely anybody's opinion on anything. I get that they have a thought on that. That's where they're coming from. Okay, totally appreciate where you're coming from. My thought is, where do you use technology elsewhere in your life? And Jose, you brought this up when we were on the water. A great point about this was the iPhone. Like, how expensive were the first iPhones that were absolute trash. Utter garbage. Like they barely worked.
Remember the Palm Pilot 3?
I mean, yeah, let's go back even further. Palm Pilots, your Blackberries, your Sidekicks. Like these are all technological advancements that a lot of people paid a huge amount out of pocket for, and they weren't even great. So like the way I look at technology is that it's not going, let's be real, you guys, it's not going anywhere but up. It's only going to be more and more involved with your lives, no matter what. So you got to find your peace with that. That said, however involved in technology you want to be, that's totally your opinion. And like, do you? That's what we always say on the show. Like, just do you. Don't hate on other people for trying things. For me personally, the way the industry is going, I think this is a good thing. Like, I see this as a good thing. Technology has to get involved more. I'm not surprised that we have it now. I'm surprised it took this long. And for those of you who are wondering, can you run this reel without charging it with your USB-C? Jose, can you still fish without a charge?
So even if the battery's completely dead, I mean, it doesn't take long to charge, and the battery will last roughly 30 days. But the braking side of it, that regens, like similar to the DC. So that regens itself, and that will work just fine. But we also talked about, so competition breeds a superior product. Yep. Shimano has had their DC technology for 20 years, roughly, something like that. The patents and all their stuff. I'm not sure, but Daiwa's had the T-Wing design for a long time. And you see a lot of these reels that come out. They're really not. I don't want to say names, but you guys saw them at the iCast where you're like, "That's cool. So what? Or what makes that so special?"
100%.
Right.
100%. Like, how many reels are just the same reel with a different cap and like a $10 price? It's the same one. Like
it's Chinese frame, a little bit of a color difference, and they want $300 for it.
That was what got me with that. So that's what brought me on that's what got me out of my mindset initially of like, I'm not sure that this makes sense. That's what switched me up. That's why I keep telling people like the line guide thing got me. Like you got me, because I cannot believe that someone was like, the T-Wing idea is so cool, but you can't just make a different one? Like, how hard is that? Like, everyone else is copying every single baitcaster. You could buy the same one for $150. Like, that's with a different name, a different grip, but it's a baitcaster. A baitcaster's a baitcaster, a size 100, 150, whatever. They're all the same. Yeah. And it's like, you guys did something, you took something that was unique out there, like, we'll make it our own version of it. You're talking about technology and competition breeding the best possible product. Someone else is going to now, 2 years from now, have their version of that line guide. That will happen. Then another one will come, and another one will come, and they will get better progressively, and they will get cheaper progressively. Same thing goes with technology, and I think that's where I want to take the conversation, because you guys have done something. You guys put out, honestly, what I thought was pretty polished product. We said it. It's like there were no issues. There's like almost no lag. It was fast. It was clean. I was really impressed by that. But now the bar's set kind of high. So if someone else wants to come and do one, they're going to have to come up with something better, or else they're going to have a more expensive version of what you already made. So the next one's got to be like, hey, now you don't have to put as much information in. Maybe now you can just say it, oh, this is my blah blah blah, and it's going to populate that for you, and it takes a piece of work out then. Or maybe the GPS technology is faster or has a broader net. I'm just making stuff up. I have no idea. But and maybe this is Caskings 2.0. You see what I'm saying though? But you already made the point. Now that it's out there, someone's going to want to beat you.
Yes.
And someone's going to change it, and someone's going to make it better. And then you guys are going to have to beat yourselves and or them, right? And you're going to have to make version 3.0. That's how we get to where we are today from the knuckle busters of the 50s. That's how we got the T-Wing. That's how we got the DWS system. So it's like it seems counterintuitive to be upset about somebody seeing something and then just going ahead and iterating off of that. It seems weird to be upset about that when you're so happy with what you have, which is exactly how we got where we are.
Absolutely. And with us pushing the limit and us being the first to have that, because a lot of people came out, oh, compared to other smart reels, Casking did about a fair job. And then that's where we're jumping in. We're like, oh, wow, we didn't know there was other on the market. We thought we were the first ones.
Yeah,
and we'll
right.
kind of jump in and be like, we're the only true smart reel on the market, period. And other than media, your guys, no one on the outside has even used this reel. So it's just funny when they kind of say, oh, it sucks compared to this reel. It's like, you haven't seen either one of the reels. So
You haven't tried it.
you haven't even tried
idea.
it. And where do we go from here, right? Where do we go from here? Maybe to the point to where the reel communicates with your forward-facing sonar. You know what I mean? When it's so it'll put exactly where I'm at, where I caught that fish, capture all that data and those analytics.
If you could make it where somehow, I don't really care how it gets done. If you were paired up with your I didn't even think about this. If you were paired up with your sonar unit, I can't tell you how painstakingly annoying it is, even though it's one button, to drop a marker on your fish finder. I don't do it so often because as a kayak angler, it's a thing that I have to do.
Positioning
it's not the same as a boat angler, but when you're in the front of the boat, it's like being at the front of the boat. I bet a bunch of people do not put markers down for like grass patch. If you could
need
do
a
that,
flip button.
If you could do that via voice control, that would be freaking unreal.
Bro, look at iCast 2024. Casking's gonna have it like voice controlled, and then I'm gonna come out with a new foot button for your GPS plotters, so you guys can just poke it with your toes. I got you.
So we're already working on our third iteration. Just look at Casking ourselves of what we've done. We were only 10 years old, and we went from an absolute Amazon joke, right, to now we're a problem in the industry. So we have to continuously, like you said, not only is everyone playing catch up now, trying to beat us, but we have to continuously beat ourselves. We have to keep at. So where's the next iteration? Talking with forward-facing sonar. If Garmin, Lowrance, whoever doesn't want to play ball, then we have the technology to make our own. If with the fishing IQ sunglasses, will this become a heads-up display? What did I tell everyone? Not yet. All right, because that's what already the reiterations that we're working on. We talk about heads-up display. That's fighter jet technology.
Yeah. As long as we don't have to wear ski goggles like the new Apple thing.
If I have to wear the Google headset, I'm out.
Sorry, I'm out.
Paul made a point on the chat that I connect with. I do feel like there's a line. I don't know where that line is. I think I know where that line is, but I don't know where that line is. But Paul said, just have the live scope tell the reel where to stop the cast so it lands in front of the fish. And I don't know whether he's being serious or not, but if he's being sarcastic, which I appreciate because I'm a sarcastic guy myself.
Yeah, you're rude.
When you think about the idea, right, of like, well, okay, you found the fish on the screen, now throw it out there and drop it in front of it, and then maybe it bites it. I'm like, oh, that crossed the line for me. Because
it's a fish caddy.
with the fish caddy was the joke we made earlier. Where I draw the line, right? It's gray, and this is not perfect. But when the reel is doing something for you, that you couldn't do for yourself, right? So the nice thing about LiveScope, it's just an information giver to you. You have more information than someone else who doesn't have that. So yes, to some people it feels like cheating, but to you, you're just like, I have the best current version of sonar. Like, this is great. I know where the fish is. And I know if I cast it in the right spot or not. And I know if I spooked them all. I know if there's a pike that ran in
And I can
busted
watch
all my
it
crappie.
as I
Like
fish.
you're seeing all that stuff live. And you're like, well, next spot. Or hey, there's I see the big crappie. I can go snag the satellite crappie instead of all the little guys out here. To you as the angler, it didn't do anything for you. It just gave you more information for you to execute against. This thing that Paul in the chat described, that's the technology fishing for you. I would definitely draw the line there. That would be something that I would say technology is actually hurting us as anglers because it's not just assisting us, it's actually doing some of the fishing. I don't know.
It's an interesting take, and also my favorite part about your whole take was that you said Paul in chat, not me, another Paul. I thought you were third personing it, and I thought you were gonna be a problem in this industry.
Just plain Paul, and he said 100% sarcastic, so I love him for it. This is not a dig, you guys. Like, okay, this is another thing I need to say before we continue. B. Dooley said this in the chat. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So if you're one of these people who's like, look, I don't want technology in my fishing, I'm like, dope.
You don't have to get it.
Even dope, great, dude. 10,000. Like, I respect the fly fishing guy who's like, I got my 3-weight and I'm gonna go catch a shark with it. I have so much appreciation for what it is that you do and how you fish. If that's how you enjoy fishing, that is how you should fish. On the same token, if someone's like, dude, I love having the eye reel. It's so fun. I enjoy it. It helps me catch fish and I stay outside and I fish more because of it. I'm like, that's so great. I love that helps you and it makes you happy. You should just do that. There shouldn't be this like there's a right and a wrong way to do it. Like that should not be the discussion that we're having. The discussion that we're I don't think that should be the discussion point. That's just me personally. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I also think that, something like this reel, the data that you're getting back is just like a faster version of an old man writing in his notebook. I mean, Paul, like, you take
Literally
notes. You're like, yeah, he did it. I actually did it too.
For years.
For early on, I got into fishing late in my life. So I was like, I want to get rapidly better at this. So Paul told me he was writing in a notebook. I was like, oh, I could do that. So I was like,
well,
okay,
you shouldn't
let's do that.
Write in a notebook. You should be using a chisel on a stone tablet.
Exactly. Like I would have to, I have one rock, right? The rock is at the launch. So I have to go back to the launch every time I catch fish. And I'm just like, that's what happened.
Burly, one of our illustrious Snorlax crew members, said, this is a comment. I love this comment. This is great. Take the tech out of this reel. So by tech, we're going to say disregard the tech, not take it out. But like, let's disregard the benefits of the new technology, right? We're saying, got it, great. Let's set that aside for a second. I bought Cast King before with mixed results. Warranty, ? For the price, us broke dads have to justify the cost. Bro, I'm here for you. That is me, my guy. Love the idea. And then he says, I'm out. So I would like to answer this question, but I would like Jose to answer this question. And then I want Jeff to answer the question too, because I think this is really important. And I just want to hear your take. It's a great question.
No, it's absolutely a great question. And, and I'll be 100% honest. I'll always be honest. If you buy a $30 reel, a lot of times I'm not 100% sure what people expect out of that. You know what I mean? I do. But then sometimes people buy our $29 Brutus. They're just like, oh, it's horrible. I'm just going to buy a Metanium. They're $400 versus $30, right?
Yeah.
Not comparable. Oh, really?
There's nothing in between.
And so that's why when someone, even with you guys, I was like, if you really want to give casting a shot, you need to buy the Mega Jaws Elite. You know what I mean? The $129. There's not a single reel that's going to touch that at $129. What is this reel comparable to? Absolutely none of our reels. None of our reels have the T-wing. This one already comes with ceramic bearings in it.
Oh, nice.
This reel is not like any of our reels.
Explain the electroplated real quick. I thought this was, again, something that I put it in the video. The one you guys will see, and it will go completely unnoticed. I'm a supply chain guy, so I respect the hell out of this.
All right, so the electroplating, we have the Antares. Shimano has the Antares. That's electroplated, but it's full aluminum. We have a full one-piece aluminum frame, but the side plates are actually carbon fiber. So we are the first to electroplate carbon fiber. So even this whole thing is electroplated. It is only 6.9 ounces.
And I apologize for interrupting. What gets missed in this whole thing is is in the engineering. What the casking team did was say, we know this is a larger profile reel. How do we execute against the design, hit your price point, and keep the weight down? And they did all of it in the electroplate with the original design intent. I cannot express to you as somebody, again, I work in supply chain. I know how hard it is to balance all those factors, and to do it on a platform. They didn't just go to a factory and be like, I would like to order the electroplated carbon fiber set, please. That didn't happen because it didn't exist. So like, I want people to, it's so hard to explain the value of that. I just love that you guys did that. To me, I respect that. I understand how complex that is. You deserve kudos for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, when you talk about the supply chain issues and finding the right distributors and this and that and that, when you think of in-house, you only really think about Daiwa and Shimano. Everyone else's stuff is made in the same factories, whether it's Banex or Doyo in Korea or the Mini that's in Shenzhen and all the other factories in China. Literally, I hate it when someone says, well, I hate Casking because I only use this brand. It's like, okay, they're 3 aisles away from us where they're made.
2 bays that way.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, you only like that other brand. Guess what? They're next door in the same facility.
Yeah.
But what we did was we have our own development now. We have our own factory. That's how we're able to push the envelope and come out with stuff that is not OTS. When I say OTS, I mean off the shelf. Because that's what ours used to be, right? The original Royal Legend, the Assassin, the Stealth were our first 3 bait casters, I believe. And those were off the shelf. And they did all right. They were okay. But as we push now people are like, oh, wow. Even in the A and B version, right? They're like, I don't understand that braking system. Yeah, because it's not in any other reel. It's our braking system. Oh, I can't believe you guys have a magnesium reel. I mean, that's something that just we are able to do in a frame that no one else has. And I understand people saying the price. Well, it ain't. There's no casting reel worth $349. I thought it was affordable innovation. Still, if you were to go line by line and go everything that this reel has versus what a comparable reel would cost from another company, I'd still say that that's pretty affordable for what you're getting. But a lot of times people will want everything that the iReel has for $49, and that's just impossible. Impossible.
I mean,
today, and I'm
not for long because
that
I'm certain that's going to be on a certain website, and I believe that website's called Temu.
Okay.
Because it definitely will be.
Like, it'll be $7. It'll be $7 then.
It'll be $7.97 with a 100% discount, and
but not
shipping
that song.
Is $500. See you in 2 weeks.
The Maytel Master. So
the worst reel of all time is the Maytel Master from Temu. It was absolute garbage.
So Burly, I think that answers your question though. We talked about what is the comparable reel quality, right? You're getting the line guide, which is very high quality. You are getting this electroplated custom design reel in a casting factory that is not off the shelf. You're getting, we just talked about the bearings, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say yes. It's still a $350 reel, so it's not free. So no one's saying that it's inexpensive, by the way. But hopefully that answers your question. And I will say, and Jose got to this, my perception of casking was the 2018 perception of casking walking up to the booth. This year, I don't fish casking very much at all, and I haven't for years because of what we talked about before, being like the AliExpress casking. Having gone to the booth, you guys got me. I said this earlier. You got me with the ultralight, the BFS, Kestrel rod. I do have it's the Kestrel Elite reel that got me. That frame is unbelievably cool. Very well designed, and there's nothing else like it. I mean, there's a lot of great BFS reels. There's not a lot like that reel. And so I was very hooked. And then when I saw what we've talked about today, my mind has switched. And knowing what I know about the company and seeing what I've seen for the last, I'll say 2 years. Can I say 2 years? The last 2 years completely 180'd me. And I'm not like they
180'd
know me. I'm old man Paul. I'm not easily out of my curmudgeon. You can't get out of the cave once you're in it. They're out. So you guys are out of the cave for me. And I was very impressed. So I don't think. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I gotta second that. And I'll say, even you mentioned like 2018 casking, whatever, even further back than that, right? So I had the Stealth 2, like the second one or whatever. I've done the Royal Legend, like I've done all that stuff, and you know the old school, like the stealth. I got it when it was OG. I had to put that thing out of its misery. I smashed it with a hammer. I was like, I'm so done with this reel. Like goodbye from my life. We did a reel test, and I just threw it in the mix because we didn't have a lot of reels at the time. This was like early on in the channel, and we were like, this thing is the absolute worst. And then, 2021, you guys had a booth. Your booth was much smaller. It's also very orange, and it wasn't nearly as high tech. And then this year, seeing the booth, I was like, okay, and we'd been talking about it up to this point because we've been seeing the MGLs and the Castrolls and all that. I was like, what is Casking doing, bro? Like, this isn't the Casking I expected to hate. Like, what's going on? So that was very interesting to me. And like I said, I second Paul on that. It's done a 180 in my mind as well. So I think you guys are doing some really cool stuff lately, for sure.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And it's hard. It's hard to get away from that original, because people still have that perception of us. So,
can you guys hear it storming here? I'm getting wrecked right now.
Yes.
Are we back? All right. Wait, Jose has to restart?
No, Jose does not have to restart. He has to restart what he was saying.
My God.
I lost my train of thought.
No one's gonna respect what you're doing, but the industry is watching casting, and they're having the stop casking meetings. I'm gonna sit on one of those meetings where they're like, "Stop! We're gonna make it real, a better one." Like, how's that different from your regular meeting?
It's just because it comes down to competition and what we have available at the prices, and the marketing has done an incredible job. The marketing team of trying to change the way we look. Like you said, it used to be very orange, very Halloween-esque. And I was so sick of all that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good.
Yeah, I think the change has been extremely refreshing. For sure, because I'm with you. The whole orange thing, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like every time I saw a casking thing, you said like Amazon trash way back in the day, and I was like, I know exactly what he's talking about. I would see casking anything, and I'd be like, no, get me out of here. And like, what's the other one, Paul? They've reached out to us a bunch. Runkle, like, is another one. They've thrown us reels and stuff. They're same thing, like just basic reels, from overseas,
the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah, like Amazon stuff. So
yeah. Question. So we had 2 questions roll in. We're gonna all answer the question: is technology ruining fishing? After these 2 questions. So one of them was: is there a warranty on the reel?